Hello guys, hey, in today's film in the news, film photography is alive as younger generation continues the old art form in a digital world. That is awesome. So the thing is that film continues to grow. Some people may have thought that, hey, film is just a gimmick. This little comeback story was a gimmick. But apparently not, because film just continues to grow. And that is really encouraging and interesting at the same time. And this is a story on abc.net, and this is the Australian version. And it just starts by saying that while digital cameras continue to increase in quality and decrease in price, there is an unwavering community of photographers who swear by the quality and craft of mastering film. And I am one of them, and I just love film. Now, Sydney photographer Tegan Page is well aware of the digital camera, but said it had none of the charm, quality, and excitement of her beloved film. And I have a similar feeling about that. Even though I'm shooting a lot more digital now with my business, the love and the passion that I have with film is a lot more intense than what I have with digital. I find that it is really hard to really have that intense passion with digital, because the camera seems to be doing a lot of the processing work for me. And that's why film is really good for learning the basics. The ISO is fixed to start with film, but if I am increasing the aperture, I know that if I increase it by this much, I should expect this level of difference. And after shooting film for a while, I do have that sort of feel for film. And she says, I have digital, but I only bought it about 6 months ago and I hate it. I'm going to sell it, she said. Well, I must say that I don't hate digital. Honestly, even though I really love film, I don't hate digital. I especially love digital for videography work. I think videography work with digital is just incredible, and that's what I love about my GH5, because I'm also a videographer. But when it comes to photography, oh man, it's all about film. I love film. If I could shoot film for my business and make a profit out of doing that right now, I would. So even though she's 23 and very much a child of the digital photography era, her tastes lie in yesterday. And I talked about this actually in a previous Film in the News episode, where I talked about millennials and how millennials are taking up film, and that's what's happening here, guys. The millennials certainly are going to be the ones that will save film photography. They are the ones that seem to be the most passionate about film in our current day and age. And it's quite shocking and surprising to me, because they're so maligned, but you'll be surprised that these millennials, they really actually are a lot deeper than people give them credit for. They seek a deeper experience, and I really I respect them for that. The article also mentions that business is booming for film labs. Kelsey Hopkins is from the same breed of film fanatics, but she's also the person to develop the film using equipment that is no longer manufactured. I can relate to that because I do that too. Her new film developing business in Wollongong, that's quite the name, Wollongong, on the New South Wales coast, has had a consistent stream of customers dropping in rolls of film to be developed and then scanned onto digital copies. So I guess the film revolution is now also happening down south in Australia. If you're from Australia and you're watching this video, do leave a comment in this video here. This is amazing. It's good to see this. It talks about becoming a better photographer with film, which is certainly what I always talk about. I became a better photographer just because I started shooting film. I was at the point where I was so frustrated. Digital wasn't challenging me. I wasn't growing as a photographer. And then I started shooting film. And I had no choice but to grow as a photographer. So I can relate to this, and I think that this is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. If you want to grow as a photographer, my goodness, shoot film, guys. Shoot film if you want to grow as a photographer. And it says here, you see it in the customers when you have conversations and they take away what you've said and it translates in their photos. It's an awesome thing. Tegan Page said the light meter on her first camera did not work. So learning how to adjust settings to get the correct exposure was one of the many skills that she picked up. That's the thing about film. You get to learn on the job, and it's the best experience. It's really that hands-on experience. Let me tell you about some of the things that I have developed as a film photographer. I'll probably expand on this in a future episode. But as a film photographer, I have become more careful with my composition. That's number one. I tend to appreciate my subjects and where I am because I'm not distracted by the LCD screen or any other thing except focusing on my subjects, trying to pay attention to how the light falls on their face, appreciating the setting, and even moving them around. It's taught me a lot of patience, right? Patience to understand the situation and to understand my subjects. Film photography has taught me basically to slow down and to actually enjoy the moment. Film photography has taught me about the interplay between light and shadows. It has taught me the interplay of shutter speed, ISO, and aperture, and how these three things work together to give you a good exposure. And oftentimes it's taught me these lessons a little bit in a hard way because maybe my exposures didn't turn out right, and then next time I learned to adjust my settings a little bit better. Sometimes I have had roles that have not actually developed properly, and then I've learned my lessons. One of them was actually going to Ghana and having the wrong setting on my light meter and ending up losing a whole bunch of rolls of film because they weren't properly exposed. Yeah, that stung, but I learned from it. I became a better photographer because of that. So in conclusion, she says, I've learned things like what skin tone goes with what film. It takes me down to the absolute basics of photography. While film photography was particularly popular among young people, Miss Hopkins hoped hearing that will encourage other people to bring their old cameras out of storage. A lot of people have cameras that haven't seen the light of day for 20 years, so hopefully a lot of people will dust them off and get them going again. I think that even though digital is very prevalent these days and digital is advancing in leaps and bounds every single year, film is still relevant because film occupies that special place where we as photographers can become true artists and artisans and really take control and play a major part in the production of art, basically.